is the way in which the European Union operates exemplifies the trends that they've described and the malign tendencies that they have brought to bear. As capitalists, as free marketeers, as classical liberals, we should welcome disruption and change and innovation. And it's only when you've had radical disruption, the Dutch Republic leaving the Habsburg Empire, are getting rid of absolutist monarchs in 1688, or the Americans separating themselves from George III in 1776, that you've had great leaps forward in the creation of nation states that have been hothouses of innovation and vanguard states for liberals. Within the European Union, what we've seen over time is a move away from innovation, disruption, creativity and liberal values towards the consolidation of the position of incumbents and a growth in regulation. Those incumbents, those large firms, have had the capacity to lobby at a transnational level away from accountable national electorates and proper scrutiny in order to ensure that the position becomes entrenched. And that is why the Airbuses of this world and the Rolls-Royces and these other admittedly wonderful companies have been so keen on the European Union. Not because getting rid of the customs union would be particularly irksome, it wouldn't be, but because if they can operate at that transnational level, they can insist on rules that act as barriers to entry for new firms. And do you know what? They can also, at the same time, virtue signal by saying that these new rules, designed to rig the market further against new incumbents, are regulations inspired by their love of the environment, or their commitment to families, or whatever else might be the virtuous cause at the moment. How delicious for these already wealthy people to be able to say that they are saving the planet and saving families at the same time as making sure that the planet doesn't benefit from the one thing that really helps the environment, which is technological breakthroughs, and that families don't benefit from cheaper goods and more jobs. And the existence of a rigged market within the European Union isn't a European phenomenon alone. One of the reasons why draining the swamp was a popular cry, whatever else one might think about some of the curious economic positions that Donald Trump has advanced, one of the reasons why draining the swamp was a popular cry is because people in America recognized that K Street, the lobbying environment, ensured that congressmen, senators, and in particular administrative agencies of the American state were all in hock to one another in making sure that the same regulatory barriers to innovation occurred. More than that, the European Union shows the impact of flawed monetary policy. I won't labour the point about the single currency and the way in which it's led to the immiseration of the southern half of the European Union, making, as I mentioned the other day, more logical and certainly more moral for the south of Europe to want to secede now than it was for the south of America to secede in 1861. One of the things I would say, however, is that quantitative easing, cheap money, as Bjorn and Frederick have pointed out, has actually ensured that the rich become richer because the value of assets has risen, and it's also ensured that companies, incumbents, have been insulated from the need to become more efficient because they've had access to cheap capital and cheap money, and that has not driven the creativity and the disruption in the economy that we need in order to maximise the number of new jobs. Worse than that, it's been part and parcel of a process of financialisation, which again Frederick and Bjorn describe better than anyone else, which means that for the managers of companies, who themselves are not innovators and don't create value, the clear incentive is to take money out of the firm, pay dividends, pay those dividends so that investment managers can provide the pensions for an increasingly greying population. And that money that goes in dividends and in share buybacks and in more and more rewards for chief executives is not spent on capital investment, research and development and innovation. And that is why we have the illusion of growing prosperity, but in fact less and less productivity. And one final thing that I would mention as well. It has been the case, I'm all in favour of an enlightened migration policy. But it has been the case that we have seen, because of the way in which migration has worked recently, cheap labour in this country provides some employers with an opportunity, essentially, to keep wages down and to concentrate not on raising productivity and raising skills, but relying on that cheap labour. And more than that, the fact that if you are a doctor or a scientist in the developing world, that you can earn more. If you go off to become a barista in the first world, the remittances back to your family and the prospects that accrue to you are greater, mean that we've seen, as has been pointed out by thinkers like the author of The Bottom Billion, whose name I believe is Paul Collier. We've seen a phenomenon whereby the people who should be driving innovation and providing leadership, political and economic leadership in the developing world, see their role, essentially, as helping to bid down wages in the developed world, because that's where opportunities lie. All of these factors, all of these phenomena, find an expression in the way in which the European Union currently operates, but they're, as I mentioned, not unique to the way in which the European Union operates. That's why Britain's departure and the changes that flow from that, I think, provide an opportunity for Britain to be, not just as the Prime Minister said, a global leader in free trade, but once again, as we were in the 19th century, under the great leadership of the fantastic Liberal Prime Minister William Gladstone, an exemplar of what a creative liberal economy should be.